Okay, now let's see what you had to say, and let's make a few observations about this particular example. The example 1.1, and by the way, if you haven't caught on yet, these are examples, or most of these will be examples taken from Feldman's book, Reason and Argument. But example 1.1, he takes from a letter to the editor. And here's a little background. The letter's in response to a 1989 Supreme Court ruling that burning the U.S. flag was protected as free speech in the Constitution. Between 1989 and now, the mood in the country has changed, largely due to the September 11th attacks. But back in those days, there was not the support of the military and the government that the military and the government actually has today. And there were some people who were burning the flag as protest. Now, others took issue with that. And our author is responding to a critic who had written an article in the paper, or an opinion piece in the paper, who was a critic of the court's decision, who thought that flag burning should be outlawed. Now ask yourself, and this should go along with what you've already said, what's the point that the author is making? What precisely is her point? Because if we're thinking about it, if we're trying to persuade somebody of a point, we're giving an argument, what is the point the person is making? What did you have as the point that the person was making? And when you express a point like that, you want to try to do it in one sentence, if you can. I want to give you a second, maybe even stop it, so you can actually clear up what you've written down about this particular example. And we notice, if we go through the article, the letter, excuse me, she has questions about the consistency of the opponents of the Supreme Court decision. That is, if you go back and read, the letter was a series of questions. Are you as outraged when our Constitution is assaulted? Did you protest when the constitutional rights of black citizens were denied? Did you, in fact, let's roll it back and take a look. Did you work for their right to vote, to equal education, to fair housing? It's a series. Have you spoken out against the assault on our Constitution by the illegal maneuverings of the boys in the White House during the Iran-Contra affair? You probably don't even remember the Iran-Contra affair. In fact, you might not have even been alive when all of this was taking place. But this was a scandal during the Reagan administration, where there was some activity undertaken by the CIA, led by the White House. And if you've ever heard the name Oliver North on TV, he's a conservative commentator now, was a lieutenant colonel in the Marines. He led this particular affair, and now I think he's on the Military Channel, some other programs like that. He's a commentator, usually a conservative commentator. So the woman says, have you spoken out against the assault on the Constitution by what was going on in the White House? Okay, so she is asking us, as we point out, a series of questions. Now, are they effective? Are they right? That's the question that we want to take a look at.